Yeah, I can't believe we are here in 2017 debating again the issue of watering down protections to race hate speech in this country. But yes, here we are again, thanks to a certain group within the Liberal Party who are absolutely obsessed with trying to water down race hate law protections that we currently have provided in Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act. Now, there was a reprieve some years ago, and we thought that the government had seen the error of its ways and it had dumped changes that it wanted to make at that time, which are basically very similar to what we have before us now, to water down those protections to race hate speech. But unfortunately, they've risen their ugly head again, and that is a certain group within the Liberal Party lobbying hard to the Prime Minister to make him backflip and bring this legislation on. So unfortunately, we're back here again. And look at the day that they chose to do it. It was actually on Harmony Day. Harmony Day, the day that we actually celebrate that everyone belongs. That's the day that the government chose to announce that it will be bringing forward legislation to water down the very essence that it ensures that everyone belongs, the underpinning of everyone belonging, and that is protections to race hate laws in Australia. What an absolute disgrace. And who would have thought, if you kind of put to someone, Tony Abbott, Malcolm Turnbull, which one would bring forward legislation to water down these laws? You would think perhaps Tony Abbott would have been one to do it. You would never have thought that Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull would be doing such a thing. Someone that once people referred to as a small L-lib, not one of the ones that were part of the cabal to bring these laws on. And that's what it is, a particular group within the Liberal Party that are absolutely obsessed with this issue. They don't care for the fact that out there in the street, no one is talking about this. No one is coming up to me, I don't think any member in this Senate, and saying, when are you going to water down changes to race hate laws in this country? When are you going to do something about Section 18C? That's not what people are talking about on the street. What people on the street are asking about is, when are we going to have legislated in this Australian Parliament marriage equality? That's what people are asking. People are asking, you know, when is the government going to act on climate change? You know, when is the government going to address underemployment in this country, inequality in this country? These are the issues that people on the street are actually talking about. And if those obsessed Liberals, those who are obsessed with this issue, would actually get out and talk to some real people, get out of Canberra, out of this bubble in Canberra, and actually talk to people about what are their issues, what are their concerns, they would soon realise that nowhere on that list is let's reform and water down Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act. And yet here we are. Well, I look forward, indeed, hope and look forward to the support of the crossbench in supporting Labor to stop this government obsession with allowing bigots to have that right to be bigots, because that's what this is about. Now, an interesting poll came out this week, Fairfax Ipsos poll, which showed very clearly from about 1,400 voters, 78% of Australians believe it should be unlawful to offend, insult or humiliate someone on the basis of their race or ethnicity. 76% of respondents who intend to vote for the coalition, in fact, said they support retaining the words offend, insult and humiliate. So even if you don't want to listen to the average person on the street, what about listening to some of your own supporters who don't want this law changed? And just as Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce himself made it clear that this does not resonate as an issue with mainstream voters. It is not passing the pub test, as one would say. So why are we here? It was 2014 that we were debating this last time under an Abbott Prime Ministership. It's 2017 and we are back doing it again. It's like we're in kind of some kind of Groundhog Day on the issue. Well, just as Labor won the fight to protect Australia's laws against racial discrimination in 2014, we will do it again. We will do it again. We still, of course, don't have an answer, though, to the question that the Prime Minister refuses to answer, and that is, what does he want to be able to say? What does he want people to be able to say that they can't say now? What is it? What is it that those Liberals who want this law changed so desperately, what is it that they want to say that they can't say now under the current law? Because one thing we know very clear about this law, it is not about just people's feelings getting hurt. The bar is higher than that, and the government knows that. It knows it very clearly. So therefore, what is it that they really want to say to people of different race that they can't currently say? The court has interpreted Section 18C so that it only applies to profound and serious effects, not to be likened to mere slights. So there is the bar. The bar is there. So why does the government want to repeal those three words and water down and replace it with one word, harass? It does not make sense. And I say to this government, hasn't Aboriginal people in this country gone through enough already? Do you really need to do this? Haven't ethnic groups, new migrants, haven't they all done enough to try and fit into this country, to the Australian way of life? Do they really deserve this? Because these are the people that you're attacking by bringing this ridiculous piece of legislation back into this place. This is a complete failure of Malcolm Turnbull's leadership, if we haven't had some other examples already of that failure. Even Tony Abbott stood up to the IPA faction of the Liberal Party and dropped his ideas to change the law back in 2014. Well, I hope that the government learns from this. I hope after the vote has been cast in this place tonight, the government learns from this and it drops its ridiculous obsession with wanting to give a green light to racists, to bigots, to anyone who feels that the current laws don't give them enough freedom to say whatever it is that they want to say. And I say to them, what is that? What is it that you feel so constrained about living in Australia that you can't say to people of different races? What is it? Because the law as it stands works fine. The polls that have been conducted about what the public think say that they think the law works fine. No one is talking on the street about having these laws changed. This is just a ridiculous waste of time for this Senate, and it shows that the government is completely out of touch with Australian values, with Australia's idea of what it means to live in a multicultural country and of what's important to Australians. The sooner the government wakes up and realises that, the better, or what will be even better, is the sooner that this government is voted out of office.